Hello, hello, friends. Welcome. I love popping on here, and already the comments are coming in. Welcome. It's so good to see you. See you in the comments section because that's all I can see from here. I'm just going to read off who's here already: Peggy, Laura, Melissa, Brent, Jim, Chad, Judith. Awesome. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. I can see the little icon, whether it's Facebook or whether it's YouTube, but that's it. And I can see your names if they come through on YouTube. Sometimes I don't get to see the name on Facebook. So if I miss calling you out, that's why. Okay, Steve, good morning. Mary Jane, good morning. Awesome. See some folks who have been here day after day. Yeah, and there's Brenda as well. Welcome. Good morning. There is so much to unpack today. I'm going to try to keep it concise, but this improvisation is a creative endeavor. And what that means is it can be kind of messy. I'm going to do my very best to keep it concise and keep it clear for you. But a lot of what I cover today is going to be for you to take from this point on and to do something with it. You don't have to do everything, but it gives you some inspiration around some ideas that you can move into your music to test, to toy with, and hopefully create better improvisations around. Lots of things from a technical standpoint, also from like an inspirational standpoint. Inspiration can come from both kind of the esoteric feeling and the technical application side of things. I'm going to try to bridge those things together. I'm going to share a couple of tools with you, some tools that my students love. I'm going to share some other things with you and something that's coming to Horizons very soon around improvisation. So pause here and look at the chat again. Anne, good morning. Jackie, Brenda, Corinne, Kim. Awesome. Glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and start out with some music. It's a good time for me to go ahead and get one of these things out of the way, and that is our daily promotion for today. Should be active. I think we have them set for 11 o'clock. I'm going to be playing today from, and I have in the last few days played from the Passages album. Or backing track album, rather. These are backing tracks that Tom Bailey and I have collaborated on specifically for flute players. And that today, let me share this with you, that today is 50% off. So this is normally marked at $40. We've got it to $20. I'll be sharing a couple of tracks from this, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the link for this. And again, every day we're going to be doing a different discount, a different promo. So check out today's promo here. And if you have Passages already, let me know what you think of them. I'm quite fond of them myself. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you. I'm just going to improvise over one of these tracks. The flute that I'm going to be using, I was plundering through my flute collection and came across this. This is a very old Butch Hall flute. I'll tell you more about this flute on the last day of the live stream. This is in the key of A. And let's get to it. I'll turn on the music. And while I'm playing, feel free to go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. It really helps show your support, but also helps my channel and page grow. We get into the groovy algorithm this way. So the track that I'm going to be playing is in A minor, and the title is Beyond the River. This is one from Passages. On Passages, there are 8 tracks in 5 keys, our most common keys: A, G, F sharp, E, and D. Those are the 5 make up the most common keys in our industry. So here we go. This one's called Beyond the River. pause there because we have a lot to get to. Thank you. Love the sound of this flute. Getting a little watered out here. I need to learn to not jam out and play before I do a live stream and get my flutes ready. Okay. So much good stuff. Thanks for the comments. Love to see those. Don't have passages yet, but going to be adding that to my collection. Love it. Laura says, sounds like a bird singing and chatting. Yeah, I really like the sound of that flute. Even, I know yesterday we talked about one of the techniques for fading out a note is shading so you don't get that whistle or that chatter, but sometimes you want that. And I feel when I don't know, I hear that track and with that flute, I want that kind of whistly, breathy quality to it. There's so many great voices, not just one, but many voices with flutes. Raspy, airy, breathy. They're not bad. They're just different, and sometimes you need that, which is also why I have like 9 A flutes. That's one of them. What are you doubled up on? If you have a flute collection, what flutes do you have multiples of? And let me know how many you have. Good deal. So we're going to get into today. I just want to catch something here. Yeah, Melissa, loving these sessions. Jonny, I'm happy you're celebrating your birthday by sharing these daily lessons. Yeah. Birthdays are meant to be shared, celebrated. The music inside, it's got to come out. And I'm glad I have an audience. Thanks for being here today. Well, let's get to it. Make sure you have a pen and paper. I'm going to be covering quite a bit. And those of you who are in Horizons know that I care deeply about your learning and your experience. So today's going to be kind of big. We're going to start. I've got a document. I have my notes, and we're going to go over what these things are. Let's get to my notes. The first thing that I want to bring up, and we're going to do this in chunks. So we're going to cover areas of inspiration, and then again, we're going to tie these into application. Okay? And so if you feel like writing these down, or you can review this later, these replays will be available on YouTube and Facebook. Easier to find on YouTube because they'll be searchable. Facebook is kind of like crazy. It's hard to find stuff sometimes. Okay. Areas of inspiration. And then where we're going to go into is 6 themes for better improvisations. And I'm going to show you a couple of tools also. Okay. But before that, got to get my coffee. By the way, did you know that we have this coffee cup on our website? It's buried somewhere. If you like this, I love this coffee cup. It fits, 12 or 14 ounces. I love the shape. I like everything about it, to be honest with you. It's got a good weight. Fingers don't get crowded in here. Coffee cup of choice. Okay. I think the most important thing is what's in the coffee cup more than the coffee cup itself. Okay. Areas for inspiration. When we think about improv, it always helps me when I have a little bit of a roadmap, a little bit of direction, a little bit of inspiration. And so let these kind of be something that you can kind of plug into, at least to start. Instead of just walking over to your flute rack and picking up a flute, this is what I tell my students all the time. Before you walk over to your rack and pick up your flute and just start to play whatever comes, I want you to make some decisions ahead of time. Because it's a lot to put on you to start playing and then figure it all out. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out in the beginning, but you should have at least some idea of what you want to work on. The very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result. Now, I will say there are times, and you've probably experienced this too, where you're playing your flute and magic happens, right? That thing comes out, everything aligns, stars align, everything's great, and magic happens. Well, once it happens once, then we expect it again and again and again. And when we're not getting that magic, we feel like bad flute players. We feel not creative. Like, where's our spark? Where's our joy? How come I'm not coming up with cool stuff? And that's why it's important to make decisions ahead of time. We'll talk about a couple of those things in a second when I show you one of my tools that I use a lot with improv. But for now, write these down. Areas of inspiration, moods and emotions. Channel current emotional states in your music. Moods and emotions. That's one area of inspiration. Second, stories and experiences. I like to think of this as like a soundtrack. If you're making a soundtrack from a memory, an experience that you had, a vacation that you took, a place that you love to visit, that can be a great area of inspiration for music to come through, which piggybacks on this one, nature and surroundings. You play different in your room than you do in a stairwell, in the woods, by the lake, right? All nature and its surroundings plays a big role. And I'm not saying that you have to necessarily go there. You can go there here. You can go there here. Okay, the next one is art and literature. This is a really fun exercise, actually. We did this before in Horizons Plus, where we took a poem and we put music to it. Poetry has a great way of guiding some energy, and it's up to us to then put music to it. That's a great way to kind of have some sort of structure. Or maybe it's something that you wrote yourself. If you have poetry or short stories that you've done, consider putting your flute music, or any music rather, that you're making to that. The other one is like art. So if there's like a painting, a picture, something like that that really moves you, and it's living in your house and you see it day to day, then don't you think it has a song? Don't you think you could come up with a song for that? It's a great place to start. Next is dreams and fantasies, okay? Explore, like, this is more imaginative, a little bit touching on that stories and experiences, but amplified in a way of like, if you're dreaming about that place you really want to go to, or if you have that place in your heart and your mind that you frequently visit. For me, it is in the mountains by a lake. Like that in my mind is my peaceful spot. That's where I go to a lot. Now I don't have that opportunity living in Iowa to have a mountain. That's pretty flat here. We get some bluffs, but to see the mountains in the distance and the water, the clear water, and it's nice and cool and it smells like rain. It just, something about it like that to me is a dream, right? The other one is seasons and weather. We all know that creative endeavors have a cycle all their own. I find that I am really active in the summertime. I'm a little bit creative, but I'm experiencing things. And then in the fall, I start to kind of close up a little bit. And in the wintertime, I reflect on all those experiences. And then they start to take shape in my creative endeavors. So learning your creative season is really important too. May not match with mine, but seasons and weather. And you can also kind of do this as like, what does spring sound like? What does summer sound like? What does fall sound like? What does winter sound like? There's a lot of things that you can do with that, just tapping into that, even as just some little structure or guidance for you. The last one is personal relationships. This is a great time, we'll talk about this, is to express dynamics in music based on personal relationships. So, you may have written a song for someone that you love. You may have written a song for someone you don't like. I'm not going to say been there, done that, but, personal relationships can encompass a lot of different things. It doesn't have to just be romance. It can be friendship. It could be companionship. It can be romantic. It could be, not so great. It could be a troubled relationship. Any one of these things. You can tap into that source as an outline, as a guide for inspiration in your music. I'm going to pause here. So these are 7 things: moods and emotions, stories and experiences, nature and surroundings, art and literature, dreams and fantasies, seasons and weather, personal relationships. Okay, so jot those things down. Now we're going to go through with something else, but before we do that, I'm going to look at the comment section here. See a lot of people talking about their key of flutes. Yeah, 2 of this, 1 of that, 3 of those. I hear you. Awesome. Okay. That's right. All right. A lot of cool things. Yeah, need to get to Colorado. We are headed to Montana next month, and I think I'm going to find my spot. I don't know. We'll see. I have been to Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful country, and love it. Andrew says, creative seasons are a neat concept. Brenda, I'm with you, Jonny. Mountains and rushing rivers. Yeah, sounds so good. Okay, let's move on. Let's go into now the 6 themes for better improvisations. So thinking about all those different things, right? Areas of inspiration. You can kind of tap into one, the other. You can work some together, that kind of thing. So let's look now at theme 1. This is melodic variation. A lot of times when we improv, you know what? I think before we go into this, I'm going to show you a couple of tools. I'm going to show you a couple of tools because I think it will make more sense if I can show you those tools first and then talk about these 6 things. Yeah, and that's exactly where we're going. Glacier National Park. Yep, I've got a 1-day master class, August 3rd. August 4th, I will be giving a concert, and we'll be doing an in-person flute circle. We've got information on that on our website. Okay, and yes, Melissa, I will come back to Colorado. There's a lot of places that I need to get to, and traveling is challenging when we have the flute store and the flute school and the kids and the family and the dogs and all the things. It's a busy season of life, but we make it all work. Let me share my screen with you. I want to share the number 1 tool that I use. Okay, you'll see some other things on my desktop. That's fine. The first one is the Improv Filter. Horizons Plus members, you get access to all these in the resource library. This may not be new to you, but it's always a great time to revisit these things. The Improv Filter is broken down into the must-dos and then the optional choices. The must-dos, like this is what I was mentioning earlier, before you go to your flute, pick it up and just start wailing on it, playing something and hoping that magic comes out. I want you to do these 3 things first, okay? Number 1, check in with self. Hey, Jonny, how are you feeling today? And be real. Don't just give the, oh, good, oh, fine, I'm okay. Like, really, give it a name. How are you feeling? And use as much, like it's just you, and don't lie to yourself. You know how you feel. Use as much creative and explanatory language that you can, right? So you might say, I'm feeling a little down because this happened. Cool. Name it. Or I'm feeling really pumped because, man, I was doing this thing and I got a compliment on it and whatever, right? So name it. The second thing is, which flute in my collection? As we know, as you collect flutes, as you get more flutes in your collection, you realize that each one has its own personality. And so each personality needs to align with where you're at. You can either move with that. So if I'm feeling down, I'm feeling mellow, I'm feeling sad, you may go to your flute that also kind of has a similar personality or tone or voice, and you may just kind of lean into it. Or you may decide, I need something a little peppy. I need to work against this mood a bit, okay? Which brings me to number 3. How should I play my flute? Because it's important what you play, but again, it's more important how you play it, how you deliver that music to someone, even if it's yourself. So those 3 things I want you to do before you pick up your flute next time. How am I feeling? Be real, don't lie. The second thing, which flute in my collection is gonna kind of pull me one way or another? And 3, how do I want to play that? Now, there's some other things in this optional choices area. Oof, I'm gonna need to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. So optional choices include certain scale, certain technique or embellishment that I want to incorporate. If not an entire scale, is there one specific note or 2 notes that I'm practicing and I'm working on kind of integrating? 3-2-1 limiter. I'm going to show you that one next. Internal story. We talked about the areas of inspiration. This is a great time. Is there a story or inspiration that I can connect to? And lastly, do I feel like a backing track, whether it's rhythm or chords or whatever, do I feel like that's going to help in this situation? Maybe you're not comfortable with those, which is fine. You can totally do solo flute. All right, so if you have questions about these things, please let me know in the chat. I know I'm talking a lot and throwing a lot at you. I want to show you one other tool and one other thing that's coming to Horizons Plus members. So let me know already if you feel like those 3 things I listed on the Improv Filter will help you. Areas of inspiration might help you. And while you're working on that, I'm going to keep moving here into the 3-2-1 limiter. This is a little different, maybe a little breakaway from what we've been talking about so far. My desktop background is really pretty today. I have it on every 8 or 12 hours. It changes the picture. I like today's a lot. It's very pretty. Okay, the 3-2-1 limiter works like this. A lot of times when you're playing your flute, you don't really have a direction, right? We've talked about that. But the 3-2-1 limiter gets you thinking a little bit more into, well, even songwriting. Form is what we're after here. Because I hear a lot of improvs that feel very disconnected, feel very disjointed. They don't feel like it's sound and it's not moving anywhere. And that's no slant on anyone. It's something that maybe you intend. Like there's different areas and avenues and venues for which you're going to share music. If sharing music and your intent is to be melodic and you're not, you need a framework. And that's what the 3-2-1 limiter gives you. So roughly for 30 seconds, play on the bottom hand of your flute, okay? You have 4 notes down here. And then step 2 would be to play on the upper hand. Now on a 6-hole flute, if you just use the upper hand, you have 1, 2, 3 notes. It's a little unbalanced. So we're gonna borrow one finger from the lower hand, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 notes on the bottom, we have 4 notes on the top. So step 1, 30 seconds, play bottom hand. Next 30-ish seconds, play the top hand. Then go all over. Go to the upper register, throw in the weird note, do whatever you want. Change the rhythm, change the melody, change everything if you want. That's your variety. And then go back to top hand. So we're now on step 4. And step 5, go back to the bottom hand. What this does, this is really important, is it gives you a song form. A, B, C, B, A. You don't have to follow that to a T. You can take these parts and make them your own. You can rearrange them. A lot of us who are playing the flute, not making decisions ahead of time, we're usually in the C category or section where we just play anything we want and nothing's really sticking. And it's just too much. It's too much of everything. Too many embellishments. Too many note choices. Too much varied rhythm. Too much. Not enough theme. Not enough structure. Not enough glue, which is the next thing that I want to share with you. This is something that's coming to Horizons Plus. I put together an acronym for glue that will help you stick your improvisation stick. So I'm not going to go through this document because this is top secret for Horizons Plus members only, but we're going to go through glue and what it is and how you can really use it to make music and improvs so much better. Okay, so look for this, Horizons Plus members. In the next week or so, I'm putting final touches on this, so it's not quite ready. Okay, now we get to the other stuff. These are the 6. Let me find my my thing here. So get your pen and paper back out, and I want you to write these things down. Take a little break here. How are we doing in the comments? How are we doing out there? I know I'm chit-chatting a lot. I have so much to share with you. So important. I love playing flute. I love sharing all of these things with you. And it just, yeah. Improvisation is such a big, vast area. And like I said, it can get messy. And I'm trying to put these things into buckets for you. And improvisation for me is the gateway to songwriting, which we're going to talk about in another session. Awesome. I see some messages rolling in. Okay. So theme 1, melodic variations. Okay. It's important to add a level of variety to what you're playing. Not so much. This is where I think the 3-2-1 limiter comes in and where it really shines, is because when you can limit yourself to only 4 notes on the bottom, you feel like, oh man, you're taking away so much of what I can play. Yes. Here's the thing. When resourceful and creative people get shoved into a corner and they got to fight their way out, guess what? They're going to find a way out. They have limitations put on them for whatever the case is, and they're going to find a way to make it work. They're going to exercise imagination, creativity, resourcefulness. So I'm going to limit you to 4 notes on the bottom hand. What can you make of it? Challenge accepted. Okay, and then you just kind of repeat what you did melodically, rhythmically on the upper hand. So we go from something like bottom hand. I'll kind of speed through this. So I keep going with that idea on the bottom hand. Now I'm going to play it on the top hand. Okay. Little shift. Now I'm going to go to C. Now, do I remember what I did on the top hand? Kind of. So you get the idea. You get some uniformity and some variance, okay? Melodic variation is really important. And this is where maybe what helps plug into this is stories and experiences. Because as you know, every good story, every good novel, every good movie, right? They're all stories. They all have that plot twist, right? And it's like, oh no, that unexpected surprise. So melodic variation can help bring surprise. Brings me to my next one. This is theme number 2, rhythmic diversity. Okay, rhythmic diversity this emphasizes like the role of rhythm in creating some of these engaging improvisations. So you could say that part A, right? We're gonna put the 3-2-1 limiter over on the shelf for a minute, and we're just gonna focus on something a little different, but a little similar. Part A, you might say, this is the slow moving, the long tones, this kind of thing. Really warm it up. Then you want to get something a little bit more energetic. All ideas, okay? So this might be that nature and surroundings kind of coming out. This is where I kind of pinpointed nature and surroundings could be something really interesting to kind of sit inside with this rhythmic diversity. Okay? Pretty cool. Next, this one is for those of you who feel like you've got a good handle on some of the things we've already covered. And you're like, I want things to feel a little more expressive. Word, I hear you. I want things to feel a little more like I have power in my playing. I have diversity in my playing. And this is where dynamics and expression really can shine. Again, this comes back to not necessarily what you play, but we're going to alter how we play it. Maybe you've heard me say before, we've heard these songs, Amazing Grace, the National Anthem, etc., etc., these songs that we know so well. And sometimes they do just nothing really special for us, to be honest. And other times when we hear it, we're so overtaken by emotion. And it's simply because the artist really got our heartstrings, tugged on them, and they did that with expression. Okay? So this can also come through in playing soft, playing loud. The other thing that comes in here, that's mostly to do with breath control when we connect that to the native flute. It's all breath control. Volume, vibrato, those two things, man, those two things alone, you will spend time harnessing, finessing, getting better, strengthening for as long as you play the flute. You're never done. You're always growing with this technique. And so when you can come in with that, you think about even the way right now, how I've been expressing my voice to you. There's some other things going on, but you'll notice there are times where I get really excited and really loud, and other times where when I want to be serious, I'm a little more thoughtful, a little softer with my voice. Okay, so how do we do that on the flute? Feels different. Dynamics, expression. I didn't do a whole lot of fancy stuff with melody, with rhythm, or anything else. I focused on, I want to be really emotive. I want to focus on this. Soft and loud. That's it. Okay. Before we go on to the last three, I'll pop over here to the chat. Yeah, writing all this info down. Haven't figured out how to write and type together yet. I hear you. Rub your belly, pat your head, whatever the thing is. C. Ross, I do notice that I'm happier with my improv playing when I add a little repetition and simple structure with meandering in the middle. It's good. It's good to know. You'll also develop, well, you'll gain an awareness about how you, as a creative person, whether it's music, writing, we've all kind of got this flow. That's how I develop these tools. They're based on how, as I'm working through things, what brings me success. And that's why I say to students all the time, take this, try it, but then find a way to make it your own. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's a suggestion. It's a springboard, a launch pad for you to get success in your creative endeavor. Like in poetry, limitations force condensing or distilling of word choices, which expands meaning. Yes, sometimes you got to find the right word, and you got to go through a lot of words to find the right word, because words have meaning. Of course they do. Okay, you guys still with me? I know we're going a little longer than usual. We'll cover these other four pretty quickly. Number 4 is scale exploration. Now, it doesn't have to be an entire scale. I know, like, when you get into music, one of the first things that you do is like scales. And the point of that is to learn where the notes are. Because later, when you want to pull on those from a creative standpoint, you know where to find them. It's like walking into someone's house that you've never been to, and you don't know where the bathroom is. It's like, don't you think, you should explore a little bit? I'm not saying go into someone's house and just use their bathroom. But what I am saying is it's nice to know the layout. It's nice to know where things are. And so it's important that you learn where these notes are, because when you want to pull on that note, just like what we chatted about with words, right? It's finding the right word. It's finding the right note. What's the right note that belongs here? Does it work for this to move it this way or that way? So scale exploration is really important. So you could say, you could lean on these different scales, and there are umpteen different scales. I think I've got a packet in Horizons Plus with about 15 or 16 different scales. This is a great time to bring up, we're actually doing a free workshop. Let me post this in the chat. This is coming up very, very quickly. Cornell Kinderknecht and I, on this coming Sunday, are doing a free workshop called Scale Synergy, and I would love, it's free. You don't have to be a Horizons member. We're doing it on Zoom. It's Sunday, July 7th at 6 p.m. Central. That's 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific. So please join our workshop. You have to register in advance. Register in advance. This is a Zoom link. I might regret putting that out on the web, but we'll see. I want to get you there. I think you belong here. I think you should definitely come and try it out. And we'll be going over a few scales in detail and what they mean. So my advice here is to draw as you experiment with scales, and maybe it's just a couple of notes that you add or take away from what you normally play. How can you tap into like the seasons and weather, right? Again, what does spring sound like? What is summer? What is fall? What is winter? What do these different things sound like? Okay. Some of you are uncomfortable doing half whole down here on the bottom of the flute. Some of you are working on doing this cross fingering or this. Like, there's lots of different things in here that you can choose. My best advice is if you're not comfortable playing scales, then I want you to pick one of these fingerings that I just showed you. Okay, then there's this one. Pick something like that and just focus on that one thing. How do I incorporate it into what I'm playing? How can I make it kind of the feature? Good stuff. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about motifs. That's the next thing. Motif development is theme number 5. Corinne asks in the chat, it's midnight for me in the UK. Are you recording it? We will be recording it. The recording will only be available to Horizons Plus members, which I think you are. So you will get a recording of it. This serves as our monthly workshop, guest workshop for Horizons Plus. But because it's my birthday, we wanted to get as many people on the boat as possible because I love sharing the love. And so we thought we'd open it up to anyone and everyone, but only Horizons Plus members are going to be able to get the recording of it. Back to this, motif development. So as you play and as you improvise, here's what's going to happen. And this is why I always recommend that you are recording yourself, especially when you're improvising, because that magic will come. And if you don't capture it, you will beat yourself up over it. Like, oh man, I wish I could remember what that thing was. You can write it down on paper with like finger diagrams or something, but you're not going to catch the emotion. You're not going to catch the breath, the dynamics that you're playing with, and you won't catch the rhythm or how long that note was or how short it was, unless you've got a very clear way to do it. But if you're just writing down X's and O's or filling in finger diagrams, it's going to be hard to do that. Be recording yourself, because you're going to, as you play, you're going to come up with something and you're going to go, ooh, I really like that. Here's what I do when I come up with something I really like, and I'm intentionally listening as I'm playing. And no matter what my focus is, where I started, once you turn on the faucet to creativity, man, let it flow. Just stay with it, let it flow. As I come up with something like it's got a good hook, or I like the sequence of notes, but it's just not quite right, I'm going to keep that, and I'm just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I've now put my other improv or whatever I was doing before on pause. This thing's important. This thing is the magic. This is what I'm here for. And as I discover it, I'm going to continue to unpack it and play and massage this, work with the rhythm on this, the dynamics, the embellishments, all those things. So developing that motif. If you struggle to come up with a motif, this is where that art and literature come into play, because you can take the words on the paper and you can break them down. Syllables become notes. That's exactly what song lyrics are. Okay, syllables and words become notes that singers sing. Okay, so you can do the same on your flute. Or it can be a piece of art that you just really love. And I've even had, there's this thing that we call playing the trees. It's very common in our native flute industry. As you scan the horizon, as the trees go up, then your notes go up. As the landscape comes down, your notes come down. And so it's a really easy way, especially if you're out in nature, to kind of go with that flow. You can go as fast, you can be as detailed as you want. If you can't see distance very well and it all just looks like a nice wave, then follow that. If you can see the horizon really crisp, then get into the detail where, oh, that tree comes down here and then the other one comes up, instead of just kind of hopping over it. So developing your motifs is really going to be strong. Keep them, even if they are 10 seconds long. You will be surprised at how much you can develop this motif into a whole song. That goes into songwriting. We'll cover that another time. Next, and last. This is something that I think a lot of us have, we make the mistake about, and that is playing too much and not allowing silence and space to be a part of what we're playing. I'm not saying that's you per se, but as a general thing, I think sometimes when we're asked to play and we're put on the spot, we fill the space with music, with notes, with all the fancy stuff. Where are the spaces and the silence between the notes? Because they play such a big role in what that overall feeling is. So consider this, relate the silence and space to perhaps dreams and fantasies, right? Because when you dream, right, sometimes you go from one thing to another, and it's like you had this dream and then you just kind of go blank for a while, and then you have this other thing, right? So this space can be very imaginative. Take your time and get very comfortable with space. Silence is a note. Silence is a choice. Space is a choice. I know I talk kind of fast sometimes when I get excited about flute playing and stuff, but I try to also incorporate space into how I deliver things. Take pauses periodically. You want your listener to feel your music, and if you are just throwing it at them, they may not. Okay. Those are the things. I know this has been a long live stream. I didn't intend to go this long, but as I was kind of finalizing things for today, I realized, oh boy, this is a big one. So I want to thank you guys for sticking in here with me. This has been a crash course on creativity, inspiration, improvisation, all the things. And I also invite you, if you have not already, to become a part of our community. This is our Horizons Plus membership. And inside this, you get access to lesson modules, all the courses, mini courses, guest workshops, both live and recorded. A lot of this stuff, every time we do it, we record it, we put it on the dashboard. We do 2 flute circles a month where we get together and, focused around a theme, we go into breakout rooms and you get to make music with your neighbors. They may be a country away, a state away, a door down, doesn't matter. They're your neighbors when you're there. And so the membership is normally $44 a month. For my birthday and during this 10-day live stream, we are offering this 31% discount on our annual plan. So it makes it roughly $1 a day. We'd love to have you join us inside the membership and just be a part of our community in this way. And so I'll put a link here for you to check out the membership. Let me find the right one. And you guys know that I am on the verge of needing glasses. Here we go. Yeah, Brent says it best. Improv is a never-ending exploration in learning. Okay, I'm going to play one more song for you guys from Passages. Remember, today only, it is half off. So you can get the tracks that I'm playing along to today and 6 more for half off, $20. Okay. There's a link for you. Check it out at your leisure. And I'm going to play you guys out today. Let's see. What sounds good here? I think I'll do something in the key of... See, here I go. I'm making my decisions. Even though I have a track, or I know that I'm going to be playing to a track, I don't know which track yet. So I'm totally doing this off the cuff. I think I'm going to go with D. And I'm going to choose this one. This one is Jungle Night Groove. I'm feeling kind of groovy. Alrighty, you crazy kids. Thanks so much for being here today. If you have any questions about the Horizons Plus membership, about flute playing, about anything we talked about today or I talked about and shared with you, please let me know. I'm always here and happy to help you. I care about your flute journey. I want you to have the most success, the most creativity, the best feeling when it comes to making music with your flutes. That's what I'm passionate about. Unlocking your creativity so you can spread it through the world. So thanks so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's the 4th of July, but we're going to do a live stream anyway, and we're going to talk about 7 ways to care and carry your flutes. So you'll want to tune in for that for sure. We've got a few more days left of the live streams. We've got a few more promotions coming out in the next couple of days. And remember, when you lock in your rate for the Horizons Plus membership, you get to keep it for as long as you're a member. So would love to have you on the platform and in our community in that way. Much love to you all. It is a good day. Woo, I'm going to break some flutes today. I hope not. It's a good day. We'll see you in another live stream very soon. Take care, everyone. See you next time.